reviewing my goals from last year. This is the work that I never want to do. I avoid it so much, which makes this whole like goal planning process difficult sometimes because I don't want to indulge in the things I did or did not do last year, and it's just like it's fear-based stuff. So I had to break through the fear and just do it, and I'm so glad I did because now we've made it over that hump, and now I have a clear picture of how last year went, what worked, what didn't work in terms of my goals, and actually feel like I accomplished a lot. My hand is killing me because I've been reviewing my different goals just in a plain old journal. So I took my list of my goals and just looked at each one and just wrote like sections thinking about how I achieved it or didn't achieve it, or what worked, what didn't work, and jotted some thoughts down about what I want to do next year in relation to that kind of life bucket, because my goals kind of just merge and carry on into the new year, at least lately. There's no major changes in these areas, but I don't know. This is just the strict review process, so I'm going to take a break now and have some lunch, and then George and I are running out to do some errands, and I can just kind of let these thoughts marinate in my head all day and also just gain inspiration from being out doing errands and doing fun things, and then try and come back to this either tonight or tomorrow. And the next step would be actually drafting out my 2025 goals and brain dumping all of that out and just kind of like dreaming a little bit. And then after that I can look at all of that mind mapping, dreaming, what ifs, and create more of a structured what do I actually want to focus on next year, and then actually set my goals from that, and then strategize tasks, projects, habits, routines, systems that can help me achieve those goals. So the hardest part is done, at least in my book, the actual review process. So yes, let's go do some errands, get out of here, and then I will see you guys when I'm ready to continue. It's the next day, friends. I've had a productive New Year prep type of morning doing life admin things. I dubbed my morning my life admin errand block, and I am carrying that into the new year because I like time blocking or like sectioning off my days into like hour-long quadrants. Like the morning, what am I doing in this first half of my day in the morning? Lunch breaks up my day, and then the afternoon I can focus on something else. I do that a lot at work, at my job, and it helps a ton there. So like I want to do that more in my like personal life and like when I'm working on YouTube and creative stuff outside of work. So that was very exciting. George went and got a haircut. I went and had a little coffee shop journaling planning moment at a new coffee shop. I've been to the physical storefront. It's actually in a grocery store, and I've seen it, but I've never actually gotten coffee there. I have tried their coffee because my coworker brought some into work and was like, this is really good coffee, but I wanted to go in, have a little experience, try an iced latte, and boy, did it deliver. It was super, super good, and now I just want more. Thank God they have a rewards program. So yay for doing new things and getting out of our comfort zone. That is like an intention, a theme I'm also taking into 2025, because as I've been reflecting on this past year, it's just been a year of rest and healing and hibernation and hiding. Like, the word hiding just comes up a lot because I've dealt with a lot of anxiety and fear and like low confidence this year, mainly the first half of this year, which I shared about throughout several different videos, you know, these past few months. But it all just kind of makes sense now that I'm coming out of my shell, and I feel so much more confident, and my anxiety's been less, like significantly less in the second half of the year. And I guess I just feel more myself, and like during the thick of all of this, I didn't feel like that. I just felt like I didn't want to interact with the world. I didn't want to socialize. I didn't want to be on social media. I didn't want to like show my life. I didn't want to share my life with people, and that was like a positive choice in my head. Like in my head in the moment, I didn't feel like it was fear-based, even though subconsciously I probably could have like sussed it out like psychologically if I really looked inward. But yeah, now that I'm like over that hump and have been reflecting, like I can 100% say like all of that was rooted in fear and self-doubt and anxiety and just not wanting to show myself out of fear and anxiety. And of course that trickled into like how I showed up on YouTube and my Instagram, online social media presence outside of YouTube. Going into the new year, like I want to share more things, obviously on YouTube, but I want to be on Instagram more, and I want to like post more on stories and have more of that like engaging community that I used to have in the past. So that was a big reflection in terms of like my self-growth and mental health journey this year. And I think a big kind of takeaway or way to kind of wrap that up in terms of like insight or intel that I was able to extract from my journaling sessions is coming to terms and sharing more about my neurodiversity, and not just like online, but also like in real life with people I interact like at work and my family and friends, just being more open and sharing that and feeling comfortable and safe to share that. I just feel like I can be myself, and I think that was also part of this fear and anxiety I was struggling with this year, is that I felt like I couldn't show up authentically because I was still in the middle of like figuring out like who I was, like with all this like neurodivergent stuff going on in the background. So once I like moved through and kind of understood like what that meant for me, now I can like go out in the world and like express those parts of myself, and it just feels very freeing and fulfilling. And now I'm just ready to continue showing up, sharing, being authentic, and engaging and having community with you guys and at large. So thank you, friends, for being here. This is not the end of the video, but I'm just having a little reflection moment. So as expected, I like started talking about how we doing life admin stuff this morning, and then I like totally just started going on to a rant about my reflections for the past year. Welcome to my brain. But I wanted to also mention that George and I went and got eye tests. I've had these glasses for like 5 years, and that was the last time I ever got like an eye test. And they say to like get new lenses or a new prescription every 2 years, which I think's a scam. So George wanted to go get an eye test, and I was like, okay, let's go together. We usually do stuff like that together. And it was fine. It was easy to book the thing. I feel like doing things without insurance makes things so much easier. I have vision insurance through my job, but it's not great. And we went to America's Best, which I feel like is very affordable for like out-of-pocket eye test exams. I think it was like, it's $50 for just an eye exam. And then they have a deal like you can get 2 frames for $80 and your eye test would be free. So we just go to get a straight eye test, and then usually we get our lenses or glasses somewhere else, like Warby Parker. That's where these frames are from, and I love them so much. I never want to get rid of them. But luckily I don't need to get a new prescription. The optometrist said my eyes have pretty much stayed the same, except for maybe a little bit of an adjustment. Like if I wanted to get a new prescription, I could maybe see just a little bit clearer, but I don't think it's worth it for all the hoops that I would want to jump through to get new lenses, new glasses, or trying to replace these frames with new lenses. And I also have prescription sunglasses, so just more added costs, more things I don't need to do. So at least I did the thing and like prioritized my health and my eye exam and doing all of that. That's another theme we are carrying into the new year, prioritizing my physical health and contacting my doctor and overcoming my fear and like overwhelm with dealing with insurance companies and what places take my insurance, yada yada yada. And that's something I've always tried to do in the past. Like if you guys have seen my past goal setting videos, I've probably mentioned like prioritizing going to the doctor and like this stuff, but it's just, it makes sense now knowing I am neurodivergent, that these things are difficult, and like calling these places, talking on the phone, and like the overwhelm, and it's just, it's a whole thing. So like now I have more compassion for myself and understanding about why it's so hard to do that. And I think that was another reoccurring theme this year with me just coming to terms with how my brain works, how it's different from normal neurotypical people, and I've given myself more compassion, acceptance, and that has really accelerated my healing growth process. So anywho, I've sat at my desk after sitting on the couch for probably an hour and a half getting Instagram reels created and drafted. I did a December monthly review one. So this whole year I've been recording just vertical B-roll clips of my life to compile into monthly review reels, mainly for myself to look back on, because in the past few years I've been really quiet on Instagram and not sharing as much as I used to, and that's how I like remember things is through taking pictures and sharing them on platforms. So I wasn't doing that for a while, and that prompted me to prioritize making these monthly recap reels, and I've loved doing them. And I want to continue doing it in 2025 as well. I just made my December one, got that posted. I even typed up some caption, a little bit of a caption, and that feels good. And then I started working on a 2024 year reflection because I did one last year just using like a reel template, and it was super fun. And I found another one that's really easy. So yay for getting that out of the way. So now I want to actually sit at my desk, have structured time to work on my goal setting. I've been brain dumping a lot over this past few days, so I kind of want to do more of that, but then also just kind of narrow down and pick my goals, select my goals. I don't know. This whole video, I don't want it to be drawn out because I've done that so much in the past, and it's like prevented me from getting videos done. I'd like to have my goals set by the end of this video, but if there's just a drafted version, that's fine and dandy. I'm like so over my perfectionism when it comes to like making my planning and goal setting videos. So I just want to like show you guys the process of like literally this is what I'm doing like a few days before New Year's Eve and how I'm preparing for the new year. And it doesn't mean I have to have every single goal set and like finished or finalized and perfect and like have a whole action plan set out. Like these were my expectations in my head from years past, and I just want to spend all of January like marinating on these like visions and goals that I have for the year, and then I can also work on creating action plans for them throughout the month to give me more time and space to do that. So I think I still want to have direction and like kind of like wrap up 2024, because if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. That's kind of like my other motivating factor to do this stuff, is like if I don't do it now, when I'm gonna do it. So I'm grateful to have YouTube as kind of my motivation and like accountability buddy. You guys are holding me accountable to doing this, so thank you. Okay, so I want to get goals kind of drafted, show you guys a little bit of X tiles. I want to swap out my desktop calendar, get prepared for January, plan out January. I feel like an imposter because I just did a planner lineup video sharing how I am going to be using the Sterling Ink Common Planner, but I haven't used it at all because I don't want to write in it yet. I've literally haven't written in it yet because I'm scared. So I've been practicing in my little weekly planner that I got on Amazon, and I actually have been enjoying the layout in this, but I want more space. So that just kind of like solidifies that I'm glad I got the B5 size because I want more space, and I feel like I can write in this without the perfectionism like disrupting me, but I definitely want to transfer everything over into my Sterling ink. So, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's go do things. Friends, so I filmed like 15 minutes worth of me filling this out. So it took me about 15 minutes to kind of draft out my goals into the Common Planner goal setting pages. And I photocopied the actual book, which I feel like is a good hack because I've seen people kind of draw this out or like recreate it, you know, by hand drawing it out, which I was going to do, and then I realized I have a printer and a scanner and I could just photocopy it, and it came out a little wonky, but it worked to actually, you know, get my brain thinking in this grid-like structure. So I tried my best because, hello, this is a new system and I've never done this kind of goal setting before or like laid my goals out this way, and I like it. I like the new shiny, the shiny new way of doing this. And it actually got me kind of thinking out my action steps and like plugging them into certain places and like figuring out like timelines. So I like it. Still figuring out like how to fill in some of these other spots, and some grid spots might not even have something to fill in. I don't know. So I started reviewing my goals. Like that was the first thing that I did at the beginning of this video in a journal. This was a good way for me to just kind of brain dump my thoughts and feelings around my goals to kind of get those emotions out, because hello, a lot of emotions are tied to our goals, if not all of our emotions are tied to all of our goals. So that was kind of my first step. And then I started the mind mapping, dreaming, more brain dumping phase of what I wanted to do in 2025. And that I did in between this notebook that I'll link down below that has a grid style, so it's great for like mind mapping. I love a good mind map. I feel like it just helps me get my thoughts out in an unstructured but still kind of structured way, so when I look back on it there's organization, but when I'm actually actively getting the thoughts out, they just kind of free flow out and I can plug and play into the different categories. So I made little buckets: YouTube, personal style, which kind of goes with personal finances. Cultivate a life-giving home, I made its own bucket, which is tied to personal. I tried to put like color code. So personal stuff, it has this like teal blue color. Putting brand identity, which I relabeled as like my mental health journey thing, personal, I'll get into that. And then my reading goal. And then this whole section was all about my physical health and wellness, which is a big priority this year. So then I transferred this into, I started kind of digital planning this out in Xtiles, which I will pop up on the screen to kind of show you what that's looking like at this point. And I've been loving Xtiles. I've been experimenting with templates and just kind of allowing myself to get back into digital planning because I just haven't been doing it in years and years and years since I let go of my like business focused goals and pursuits. So, because I was burned out and I needed time to take off. And now I feel like after all this rest I've been doing this past year, I'm ready to kind of put myself out there, prioritize taking action on certain things like YouTube, art, personal stuff, and just my whole like social media brand identity side of things. So that's been fun for me to map out things, and that it actually allowed me to kind of think of other things I wouldn't have even thought of adding into my goals. And I even made like a little vision board. I started drafting that out in the tab sections, and that's really fun too. I've traditionally, historically, have always struggled with vision boards because I feel like they're overwhelming and they're time consuming, and I don't like this thought of like sitting for like hours and hours and hours sifting through Pinterest, downloading images and then uploading them or printing them or compiling them into something that looks aesthetic. Xtiles actually made it fun, and I'm shocked that I actually kind of made a little bit of a vision board. And this is all thanks to the template that I will link down below from the one ADHD coach, I'm blanking on her name right now, that I got this from. But anyway, if we kind of come back to my drafted common planner goals system. So yeah, as you can see, the goal breakdown section is over here, and I tried to color code this. Well, I tried to physically create a barrier so my brain could see that these were my goals, and then these were all the like timeline of my goals. So we have 6 quadrants, I guess, 6 rows, and I have YouTube, my physical health goals, financial goals, reading goals, personal goals, and cultivate a life-giving home goals. These are all personal goals down here. I guess they're all kind of personal. Well, YouTube's not personal, but like these could all be lumped as personal, but I need to like break down my personal goals even further so it helps me just visualize and focus on them more. So that's my explanation for how I break down my buckets and categories. So yeah, this is like just the bucket or the category of them, and I felt like I was able to transfer my brain dump stuff and digital dump stuff into this quite nicely. Like I don't feel like I'm missing anything, except maybe my like mental health identity kind of stuff that I'm working on. And this spawned out of this year, which wasn't even really a goal. I think the goal that tied most to it was like growing as an artist, which initially at the beginning of 2024, I wanted to just focus on drawing and like improving my drawing skills. And then halfway through the year, I had a huge shift, dropped drawing and just wanted to focus on like my identity as an artist and my like branding as a YouTuber and like content creator, and wanted to focus on just my mindset of being like, yes, I am an artist, I'm an archivist, I am neurodivergent, I do all these things. So I just want to carry that into 2025 because I did a lot of growth in that area this year, but now I kind of want to like apply that and like do more and let that empower me in 2025, if that makes any sense. So I just had put personal goals, and I kind of put that in here. So personal goals has multiple things, but anyway, we'll get to that. So YouTube, we have my someday, my 1 year, my half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. And you can see I don't really have anything for like quarterly, weekly, daily, because again, I want to treat YouTube as low stakes as possible because of my history of just like hyper fixating and focusing on goals around social media and business things. And this is my way of healing that part of myself that's been really burned out and just traumatized, you know, around business and entrepreneurship. So someday we'd love to get 100,000 subscribers. 1 year from now, I want to reach 10,000 subscribers. That was my goal last year. We got to 5,000, which I thought was amazing. And I mean, 10,000 is definitely a stretch goal, but I just need that kind of direction to help me think like a YouTuber that has 10,000 subscribers, or like get into that mindset. So that's the whole thought process behind there, even though there is inklings of doubt, you know, realistically, can I actually hit that? That's not in my control at all. I have no control over the algorithm and how my videos get pushed. I can only control what I create, how often I upload and create and share it, and just creating content that you guys want to see, and like nurturing my community. So those will be broken down into like my quarterly, monthly, weekly actions, I guess, and how I like approach YouTube, which I will map out in more detail later. But right now we just have numbers for just concrete milestones to hit. Half year, I just put 7,000 subscribers. I usually don't think in half term or half year timelines, so that's interesting and different for me, and my brain's like, this is fun. Let's try this. And again, I just put for monthly, post 2 to 3 videos a month. I'm definitely not doing a weekly schedule consistently all year, but seasonally I want to like have slower periods and then more higher fast-paced posting periods. Like fall is when I like to post a lot more, because my channel is kind of focused towards cozy autumnal content and like bookish content, and I get a lot of views and engagement during that time of the year. Meanwhile, January is like New Year's focused content and planning content, and then, you know, spring, summer, it gets a little bit slower and I'm not as inspired. I don't know. That's kind of my thought process behind that. And then we just kind of go even further into that, you know, as we move through. I'm not gonna, I don't think I'm gonna sit here and walk through all of this, because I feel like this will be like even longer than it should be, but you can visually see what my draft looks like, and I'm going to eventually transfer this into my common planner once I muster up the courage to write in this. Yeah, so now I want to show you my X-Tiles. Hello friends, welcome to my X-Tiles. So I downloaded the desktop application for my Mac, and they also have ones for Windows. You can also get the app on your phone and your iPad. I've tried it on my phone, and so far it definitely has limited capability for like adding stuff, but like my viewing experience has been great. So I would definitely recommend using the browser or download the application to your laptop to actually like type in it. But I wanted to plug the ADHD planner template that I got from Karen McGill, who's a ADHD coach on YouTube, and I will link her down below. But she does a whole video where she walks through how she fills out this planner template to help her with the 2025 goal setting. And you can see, this is why I love X-Tiles, and I am just like mind blown over this, because there's tabs up here. Visually, this is amazing, and something that Notion did not have, because Notion has like the side kind of row section where all your stuff goes, and it was just not neurodivergent friendly by any means. And I used to use Notion a lot, and I stopped for various reasons. One being, every time I log in there, I just can't be in there. So when I saw X-Tiles, I just was enamored, and I've stayed in it, and I was up late last night like adding stuff to this. So this is the template. It's free, and you can make a copy of it through the link that I will share from Karen McGill. And then let's go into my actual custom template. So look at this. It looks so cute. So this is the vision board section. I want to come back to this, but let's go to the yearly goal section, because this is where I started making this cute and aesthetic by downloading this cute star print pattern from Pinterest and adding it in. So it has a lot of the same functions as Notion. You can customize a lot, but it's just more user-friendly for neurodivergent brains, which I love. So like you just kind of have a blank canvas, and then you can start adding things like that at the bottom. Very, very easy. Anyway, let me just briefly go through how I broke down my goals digitally, and you can kind of visually see here. This is a draft. It's not full yet, but I wanted to add in pictures that are like part of my vision board, and just to keep me like stimulated and
had that aesthetic look, and I just love looking at this now, and it looks even better on my phone when I'm looking at it on the app version. So I broke down my goals that I went over, when I went over the paper version into my little buckets like that. And these are some questions that were part of the template that I just want to keep here to use in the future, but eventually I will delete these, and you can customize all the color coding situation here. It's amazing. Look at that. Let's make that yellow just for the for the vibes. And then over here is the vision board tab, which got me excited and actually taking action to make a vision board. So there's a template here, and I went in and added my own images from Pinterest and kind of put, what am I manifesting this year? Which I'm going to continue manifesting a house, specifically a cute and affordable cottage in a quiet neighborhood near my work. And I found this cute image here to put because it looks secluded and it's white, which I like white homes. But yeah, so that's there. Some interiors. George and I are traveling, so I have like this cute little phone box from England because we're going to England in September with my parents. Some food related things. I want to really work on my personal style this year, hence why I have like shoes. And then over in my yearly section, I have more shoes. I really want to invest in footwear because that's something I'm lacking. And fitness. I put this here because of my like leg pain. Like I can no longer like do pigeon pose or like put my legs this way when I used to be super flexible and was able to do this. This is kind of a visual for me to get to this point, which would be going to the doctor and getting my leg situation sorted out, and also just like working out consistently and being able to get back to the kind of shape I was in. Yeah, and then you can add more tabs. In the free plan, you can only have 5 tabs. Since this was a template, and I downloaded it for free, I guess these tabs are staying here, which is nice. But once you delete one or try to add one, you can't, because I'm on the free version, but we have a month.
It's the next day, friends, and I've had a morning and we did it. We got courage, friends, and I officially have transferred all of my goals into my 2025 Sterling Ink Common Planner, and it actually looks super cute. Look at this. I don't know where all of this creativity has been coming from, but we put some washi tape and some stickers. Visually, I love looking at this, and I think I can add a little bit more to it as I go, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. This is the only page that has been filled out in my Common Planner so far. I think I'm going to fill out my weekly spread and transfer everything from my little planner that I've been practicing in and get that going. And then I have to also set up my January monthly layout and then also figure out the quarterly pages. There's a lot that I can do throughout the month of January. If you want to see more Common Planner content, spreads, setups, I don't know what terms to use, let me know, because I've tried to find similar like setup videos or just like people adding their goals into the Common Planner, and I couldn't find very much beyond just like general setup videos. Maybe there's more on Instagram, but I don't go on Instagram too much when I'm doing this kind of planning stuff. But I definitely want to film more like reels and shorts and maybe just share more of my spreads in my Instagram stories. So make sure you're following me at In Search of Sheila on Instagram to get more planner content. And I think I'm going to do like a weekly plan with me video where we just plan strictly in here once I get through a couple weeks in here and have a little bit more comfort and direction. But in general, I think I'm going to be using the same spread that I talked about in my planner lineup video, where I showed you guys like a mock-up version of how I plan to use the weekly horizontal spread. And basically I already kind of did that in the small planner, so I'm just going to kind of move all of this over into a bigger space, and I think we'll all be happy hunky-dory in the end. I think this is the end of the video. I just want to plug one more thing to get us in the right headspace for the new year. So last year I got a desk calendar as a gift from one of my former staff members at the archives, my former archives assistant, and I use that mainly at work. Like I kept it at my job, and it just really lifted my spirits every day, and it gave me something to look forward to flip the page. And when I was slowly getting back into Instagram and posting on my stories, I would just share a photo of an inspiring page from that day, and I just had a lot of emotional connection to a daily calendar thing. So I got a new one for myself this year. This is 365 Gentle Reminders Daily Positive Affirmations, and I got this at Barnes & Noble for half off after Christmas. All their calendars go on sale, and I haven't opened it yet. I did look at pages like online before I bought it just to make sure like I wanted it, but this is obviously a sample. And then if we pull it out, let's get ready for the new year, shall we? So introduction, and here's our day one. I'm so excited. Oh, and this is really cute. So I think I'm gonna mainly take this to my work, but for now it'll be living in my little office space. Yay. All right, friends, with that said, thank you for joining me for these past few days of me preparing for the new year and getting my goals in check and brain dumping, mind mapping, finalizing, solidifying, exiling. I feel like we did a lot in this video, and I'm so excited for the new year and to work on my goals and plan in my common planner and just share more of that with you guys here on YouTube and on Instagram. So thank you guys again for being here, whether you've been here since the beginning, a couple of years, you just found my channel. I'm grateful for you, and I'm so happy that you are part of our little cozy community here on YouTube. So I'm sending you love and light in the new year. Happy New Year. You are amazing, you are awesome, and you can do anything you set your mind to. So with that said, I will see you in the next one. Bye.